Where are we when it comes to vaccine breakthroughs in Asia?
Well, I mean, Asia is already in a more favourable position, right? Because most of the developed countries in the region, at least, have either eliminated the virus or have it under control, compared with the US and Europe. So the pressure and need for a vaccine right now as a panacea is not as intense. I mean, that said, countries have been making deals for vaccines and, of course, making their own. That's particularly the case for China, which was the second place globally after Russia to authorise its homegrown vaccines for emergency use back in the middle of the year. That's what we've just seen with Pfizer in the UK. For a handful of countries in Asia that already have vaccine deals with Pfizer itself, they still will require their own regulators to vet the shot. Some of them are still running their own trials to make sure it works on their populations. So we are talking quite a long time, certainly not UK-style timeline before that particular vaccine is available in the places that have ordered it here in Asia.
Which countries in the region have deals to buy the Pfizer vaccine? When could we start seeing the shots being rolled out? We're kind of seeing this move pretty quickly.
We're seeing it move pretty quickly in the UK, but don't forget that most places still want their own vaccine drug regulators to look at this. The UK brought a pretty unusual process to bear on this one. They were looking at the Pfizer data alongside the company. That's not what the FDA, for example, does. It does its own sort of independent, separate review, and that's why they haven't endorsed this one yet either. Hong Kong has a deal for this one and could conceivably be the first place in Asia to start providing this one. They've said they'll follow the US FDA, which could rubber stamp it as soon as this year. That will likely be a relief for some of them there, as there's been concern in the city that they would only have access to the Chinese vaccines, which obviously there's some distrust over given the political situation there. Japan and China both are lined up for the Pfizer vaccine, but they're both places where bridge trials are being done. So these are clinical trials where they want to see that this is safe and actually works on their particular populations. Australia, too, it's granted provisional determination to Pfizer's shot, but its own regulator is also doing a review, so that could take a couple of months. So it would probably be, more like next year for some of these places, particularly for the Pfizer shot.
How about China? Where's China at?
Well, China's been inoculating under its emergency use program for the past couple of months. Hundreds of thousands of people, from port workers, health workers, and others, people that work at SOEs, as we've reported, here in China, have been getting the vaccination. It hasn't regulated any vaccines for public use or public rollout across, obviously the world's biggest population as yet. And so that means that we haven't really seen any of the countries that have deals for China's vaccines, endorsing and starting to roll out the Chinese vaccines yet. But we do expect that sometime soon. Comparatively less transparency from the Chinese vaccine makers so far. They haven't provided, for example, phase 3 data as yet.